Morning everyone, welcome back to my channel Slimming Stories. If you're new to my channel, I'm Cloudon West. I'm a hypnotherapist, coach and podcaster, and I've decided to take to YouTube and just document my journey. So you'll hear lots about the mindfulness around eating and the eating strategies that I put into place. You'll hear how I'm doing each week, and you'll be able to see my weight loss on my book when I'll show you in a moment, and I'll be updating you about that and just about how I'm feeling with my week, about the foods that I've eaten, the exercise that I've done, and all the bits in between. So last week I posted all about stepping through the doors of my Slimming World group and not really like feeling it because I've got it all in my head about the numbers. So what I decided to do this week was just really just focus on that feel good factor, not getting obsessed with those numbers and just taking that pressure on myself just to enjoy myself. You know, it's summer holidays, my son's off from school, so we're doing different things, and my son loves takeaway food, loves Indian food, and just being around him and enjoying those times, because as a 15-year-old it can be quite difficult sometimes to make that connection. If anybody is listening as a teen, I'm sure you can appreciate all of that, and I just wanted to, you know, just enjoy the summer. So I feel that I've just blown out the water body magic this week. I've wrote down because I know I'll forget. So on Friday of last week, so my weigh day is on a Thursday. So on Friday, I went to Shred, which is at the local gym where we're like lifting weights, doing cardio, and all of those things. I then went to hot pod yoga afterwards. So has anybody tried hot pod yoga? Honestly, it was beautiful. I went into this, like, it's like a big tent, and you go inside, lots of purple colours, which I love. That's my favourite colour. And the scents, it felt amazing. And the sensors were amazing too. And I've not really done a lot of yoga. I've basically just dabbled with it over time, and I'm no yoga expert. And my friends had said to me, if you go, you'll find that some people are just like lying down, relaxing, listening to the relaxing music. Some people are just experts, and they're real pros, and they're really into it. But you can do, you know, just go in at your level and just give it a go. So I went last Friday with hot under my towel, thinking, right, okay, this is going to be okay. I'm going to be okay with it. And everybody was just like absolute pro. And it was me. So the guy that was like sat next to on his so we all had like these mats, he was just like an absolute pro. Um my friend that I went with, she's actually the owner of the local gym, so she was just like a gazelle. She looked amazing, just pulling out these shapes. And there's one maneuver where you have to like pull your leg back and kind of like stand up. I can't really explain it very articulately, but I couldn't do that in one fell swoop. And you're doing all this at 37 degrees. So that's something that I tried. And I do have a friend that teaches yoga, and I think I'm gonna have to book in some sessions before I go back. But I tried it, and the heat was so intense. But it's definitely something that I think I'm gonna try again. I just don't. I think at the moment I'm quite happy to lift my weights, go for my runs and stuff, and my walk. So that was on the Friday. On the Saturday, yeah, on the Saturday I went to park run. That's what I did Saturday. I went to park run. That was a walk run, and it felt harder. But I did it. And that's the main thing. In fact, I'm lying there. I didn't go to park run. I've got my list here. Look, I've got my list, and I've got that mixed up. So no. So I did the shred on the Friday, the hot pod yoga after. On the Saturday, I went for a walk in the evening with my friends, and then on the Sunday, I went for a 4 mile walk. So we live in Nottingham, we live near Sherwood Forest. So I didn't go for a 4 mile walk. I'm talking nonsense now. I'm still going to keep recording. I went for a 4 hour walk. So we live near Sherwood Forest. So we walk from our house where we live right to Sherwood Forest and back again. And that in total walk time, that was 4 hours and 17 minutes exactly. And I was beat. I really, really was. I didn't prepare myself. I went on some melon. I ate some melon, went for this walk, and I was shattered. But really enjoyed it. Took my son, went with my husband. It was lovely. And then what I did was I did another shred session, and I also went to a run club where we do these pyramid sessions where you basically run a little while, then you walk back, then you run a bit further, and then you walk back. You build up and then reduce it back down again. And that was an evening that was really, really warm. So I think in terms of body magic, I've blown it out of the water this week, and I'm recording that because I want to have a shiny sticker at the end of it. So this week, when I went to group, I had a takeaway on the Friday after getting weighed with my son, and then I also had a takeaway last night. So I've had two chicken korma and mushroom rices, and I enjoyed every bit of that. I really loved it. I didn't have the whole sauce from the korma, but it was amazing. And I love food, and that is a meal that I really, really enjoy. I could have had like a dry tikka and salad, but when it's takeaway, by the time you get it, I just don't think it tastes the same. So I chose something I knew I really enjoyed, and I did not expect anything in terms of like a weight loss or anything on those scales. I thought I'd put on. I was expecting like a 1 or 2 pound gain. So this week I have done. I'm just going to show you my book. This week I've done a half pound loss. Don't know how the hell I've done that. So I've now lost in total £10. Really, really pleased. How did that happen? We get on the scale some weeks, don't we? We've put on. It's like, how have I put on? I've been really, really good. Well, this is one of those weeks where like, how the hell have I lost weight? At best I'd have thought I would have maintained, but yeah, I've lost £half, and it's also my star weeks. Jazz hands, it's my star week. So I'm really feeling amazing about that. So next week, we booked off time to go away, but my son's protesting a little bit. I'm not sure if he's wanting to come or not. I'm not sure what's going to happen, so I'm just going to play it by ear. Not going to panic. It is what it is. If he wants to go away, he does. He's 15 now, so I think he's just, I think his time with mum and dad is probably running a little bit short. So there we are. So what I want to do is just pick up on mentioning the Instagram account that I've got. Some people have asked me to post photographs of the food, so I just want to tell you a bit about that. So this is my Slimming Stories Instagram account. So don't know if that comes through on the video or not, but it's basically called Slimming Stories _podcast, and I'll put a link below. So you'll see lots of things on here about the podcast. You'll see here clips and things from people. So let me just show you. I think I mentioned Ruth, didn't I? Ruth Calvert. So she's been on the podcast before. So this is, if you flick through my Instagram account, you'll hear like little sound bites that are taken from the podcast. So these are usually things where people they've lost weight and they're talking about those like golden nuggets, if you like, that have helped them on their weight loss journey. So this is, I'm just going to play you one from Ruth. So
and your gains.
That went really smoothly, didn't it?
If you look at it as a journey, and your gains they're just little bumps in the road. If you're traveling somewhere and you hit a bump in the road, you don't turn around and go home and give up. It's part of the journey, and if you can embrace it as part of the journey and get to a place where you're okay with that, like, it doesn't matter if you have a gain, it's part of it, but you keep going. You don't stop and turn back. I think that's how you have to look at it, really. You don't fail if you don't quit. As long as you keep trying and you keep pushing, you will get there eventually. And everyone's journey is different. Like, some people will lose quicker, some people it takes a bit longer, and it doesn't matter. That's okay. And I think just not comparing yourself to other people as well is another big thing, and just to focus on yourself and what you're doing and what you're achieving.
There we are. So that's just, I didn't realise how long that was. So I basically do like a minute clip when I release a podcast, and if you go onto my Instagram, you'll see there's loads on there, and you'll see some familiar faces. Some of the people have been on them in the magazine. There's Mark, I don't know if you recognise him from one of the Slimming World magazines. Yeah, there's lots of people on there. But what I've also started to do, because people have asked me to post things about the food, I thought I'd just talk you through what I've eaten. And I thought about how to do this. I think the easiest way is for me to literally just go onto my Instagram account and just scroll through and show you. So this is something that I've really enjoyed this week, and I feel that I've just gone carb-tastic this week. It's like everything's carb. So this is just some pasta with, oops, don't disappear. This is just pasta with a homemade spaghetti bolognese sauce. So to make that, I've just put passata, oregano, garlic granules. I also use that garlic, it's like a quick garlic, I forget what it's called. Come on, Claire. I'm sure it's called quick garlic or something. I don't know. You get it in a glass tub and use that in there. And then I put my LCA for my mozzarella. So that's something I've enjoyed this week. This is another dish that I've made, and that is broccoli with pan-fried chicken, pasta, and mozzarella. You can see the theme here, can't you? So with that one, what I did was I used a dessert spoon of oil and I simmed that, but that's between three of us. And then I've used again more garlic, black pepper, I love black pepper, lots of black pepper in there. And then I pan fried the chicken off. And then before it finishes, I kind of shred it up. I boil off the broccoli, add the pasta, and then we're good to go just with the mozzarella. And this is something that I used to live off. So this is something that I eat, and when I eat this, I think you're not going to have a great loss, Claire, but I love it. So I've got my active fried chips on there, baked beans, fried egg, and then chicken Italia sausages. I believe they're either 1.5 or 2 cents each, and I love that meal. Absolutely love that. I used to every night after I'd finished Slimming World, when I used to go to my local group on a Thursday evening before I started doing the morning session, my husband would put the active fried chips on and I'd walk in and that's what I would eat after group. And then that was a jack potato. Just look how much cheese is on that. So this was my being really, really good on plan meal that I chose when I was out and about. I took my mum shopping last weekend and yes, there was lots of cheese on there. I did not eat all that cheese. But what I must say with Morrison's is the jacket potato was huge. I had that without any butter. I got a side salad, which was really generous. And I just took some of the cheese off. It was grated, so it was easy to get off. And there was beans on there. So I felt really pleased I was able to choose that. And I felt really, I felt good about my choices. So just to touch on the meals that I've had and those takeaway meals, I love takeaway food. I love that food. Am I going to stop eating it just because I'm on a similar plan? No. I could have chosen something like healthy. If I'd gone out to a restaurant, I may well have had like a sizzling platter or something like that. But I wanted what I wanted and I enjoyed it. And I lost weight. And I lost weight. And no doubt there's people listening back to this thinking, how the hell have you lost weight? And I do like to exercise, like that feel good factor. I went to meet a lady to have a little chat about some hypnosis in the park. I don't normally do local work. Everything I normally do is online, and it was just nice just to be out, just feel that warm air, that summer air. It was lovely. That in itself was wonderful without even exercising. But I do like to exercise. I do feel better when I'm exercising. It just gives me that feel good factor. It's great for your mental health, and I've enjoyed it. So yeah, I've had a really busy week this week in terms of my work. It's been the busiest week that I've had for the business since I started. By far, it's been good. I've turned over more money than I would have done working my corporate job. I've doubled it. I've doubled my income for the week, which I'm really proud that I've done that. It's amazing. I've been busy. It's been a little bit intense. I've helped a really lovely lady this week with a wasp phobia, and that was great just to see that, where she couldn't even step off a doorstep. And what we did was I asked her to put a watch on. We looked at her heart rate, how it was before she went on the doorstep, where she thought she might be attacked by a wasp, and how she was afterwards, and it shot up as soon as she went on a doorstep. The heart rate shot up. And then I got her to go and sit under a tree where it was like a fruit tree that had wasps around it. Often she would see wasps there. and she was able to go and sit near this tree, and she would normally just go out the house and run to the car. So the fact that she's able to do that after 2 sessions, I was really pleased how that went. So I've had some wonderful experience with clients. I've really enjoyed the work. And, I've looked back to, where I was with my corporate job. And normally what would happen is, when I used to work for my corporate company, is I was a lone worker. I'd be out and about all day. Sometimes I would drive like 200 miles, like visiting vulnerable customers. And sometimes I say, right, okay, I want you to go and work in London. I want you to go and work in Wales, because there's only a couple of us that did it was like a specialised job that we did. Or we want you to go to Scotland and stay there for a week and work. And I think just like looking back at how things have changed, knowing that I'm not having to stay in hotels, I'm not having to, I mean, that in itself was a challenge. You'd get like this allowance. I think like Scotland, Wales, UK, you would have like a £25 allowance an evening, or London, it was £35. And for somebody that, loves the food, having that allowance, often I would go out to the local Thai restaurant and have a wonderful meal. If it was like quite a cold day and I felt like, I just wanted to stay in, I would have room service. I would have a starter, a main meal, and a dessert. Sometimes I would have 2 desserts. I'm not going to lie, I would have 2 desserts. And this food, it would come prepared lovely. I stayed in some really nice hotels, some not so nice ones too, but generally the food was amazing. And I'm just proud that how far I've come up to this point, knowing that I don't have to work away from home. I don't have to like negotiate those weeks where I can remember every week I'll say to my consultant, well, I think I'm having to work away a couple of nights, and or it might be I'm having to work away for the week. I don't know, I'm going to be on plan. I don't know, I'm going to be on plan. Where now I've got none of that. I'm able to do like homemade soups and have that at lunch. It just feels so much easier being around food now. I feel so much more in control. And a wonderful non-scale victory this week. I may have mentioned it last week, but I think I got that wrong. I'm sure it was this week this happened. So I've got these jeans that I've not worn since, I believe it would have been 2020. They are stretch jeans, and I thought there was a size 18. And I wore them. I went out in them on Saturday when I went shopping with my mum, and I was able to sit down in them and actually still breathe. So that was like a really big achievement. And I thought there was a size 18. I spoke to my friend. I said, oh, I explained what I'd done and how good I felt being able to put jeans on again. And I looked, and they're actually size 16. Now, sizes can vary so much, can't they? And I've got dresses in size 16 that I can't fit into yet. I feel like I'm a size 18 now, but I'm in between probably sizes now, which is wonderful. And it felt fantastic to be able to put those on, go out, and be back in something that I used to wear a while ago. So that's my week. I'm trying not to focus on that number on that scale. I'm looking at it, even now I'm looking at my book and I'm thinking, well, if I could lose £3, then that would be amazing. And, if I could lose £4, then I'd be in single figures of my 13 stone. If I lose £4, I'll have my stone certificate. You have all of those things. But what I truly want, is to be able to have wonderful food, be able to exercise, be able to do all that, and just relax around food. I don't see this as a diet. I see this as a lifestyle change, and I am enjoying the food that I'm cooking. And even though last week I had that takeaway food, I did have healthy meals, and I enjoyed what I enjoyed, and I wrote things down, and I think that's why I've had that £1/2 loss. If I'd had those takeaway meals and I'd gone crazy and I would have been totally off plan all week, I would have come back probably with a £3 or £4 gain, but I didn't. And I was also able to exercise, and I felt that momentum. So how has your week been? Let me know how your week's been. I'd love to connect with you, and learn how your weight loss journey is going, how you're doing, what's motivating you, what you've tried differently. And this week when I went to group, it was busy, and I thought, shall I stay? And I thought, again, I'm having to have the same conversation. Yes, Claire, you stay in. So I did. I stayed to group, and there was one lady that was talking about Tesco. I think it was Tesco puff pastry, and she said she rolls it out really thinly, and a square. I think she has a square for like 2 sins. And it's a very, I think Charlotte says it's a very low fat, or it's a low fat pastry, puff pastry. And obviously with puff pastry, it does come up when you cook that. So I'm gonna look to buy that. I know Debbie from Debbie's World mentioned cooking with chicken in white sauce. I'm going to go and get some of that. And then I'll keep you updated. And you might well see some photographs of my wonderful my wonderful designs on Instagram or back on this channel. So yeah, I'd love to see you over there. If you come and follow me, just send me a DM and I'll follow you back. Let me know that you found me on YouTube, because the algorithm of Instagram, I did come off it just because it was just crazy. You know, you'd spend the time putting a post up and then you get like 4 views on it. You just think, what's the point? But if people do want to see that, then I'm more than happy to do that. So have a great week ahead. I'm really geared up for this week. I'm really geared up, and I want a £2 loss, at least a £2 loss for next week. And because I've got weighed on Saturday this morning, that means that we're 5 days away from me wanting a £2 loss. I've got to pull it out of the bag. And you'll see that I'm wearing this dress. So this is the dress that I weigh in. So sometimes I get weighed on a Thursday, but then I record the video on the Friday. So if you see me in this, you'll know that I've been to cream. I go in the same dress because I'm thinking I want that same weight. So anyway, that's me. I'm a bit weird. Have a great week ahead, and yeah, take care.